Have you ever had that feeling when you gaze up at the night sky, you sense that the sky is gazing back at you? That might not be your imagination. What if I told you the aliens we've spent half a century desperately searching for aren't missing at all? What if they've been here the whole time? Like wardens of a vast wildlife preserve, they silently watch us being born, fighting, waging wars, and then perishing. And Earth? Earth is the meticulously isolated enclosure. We can't find them, not because space is too empty, nor because a great filter is holding them back, but because in their eyes, we are simply not qualified for contact. Today, we're discussing a theory that might completely shatter your worldview, the zoo hypothesis. It could unlock the secrets of why UFOs behave so erratically, why ancient mythologies are so similar, and perhaps the ultimate meaning of our existence.
The core idea of the zoo hypothesis is this: the universe is already teeming with advanced civilizations. They know we exist, but they deliberately choose to hide themselves, avoiding all direct contact with Earth. Why? Imagine you're exploring the Amazon rainforest and discover an uncontacted, isolated tribe. Would you land a helicopter in their village square and start handing out smartphones and antibiotics? No, you wouldn't, because you know that any intervention beyond their comprehension would instantly shatter their culture, their beliefs, and their social structure. This is the interstellar contamination and prime directive non-interference principle. For a truly advanced civilization, the sign of maturity isn't just technology, but ethics. They may have long ago reached a consensus: respect the natural development path of every civilization. We can't find aliens not because they don't exist, but because we haven't graduated yet. But this raises a more fascinating question. What about all those UFOs? If they don't want to be found, why are they so careless as to leave so many traces? This leads to a bold speculation. The vast majority of UFOs we record today might not be physical ships at all. They are the shadows cast by higher dimensional civilizations into our three-dimensional world. It's like a 3D sphere passing through a 2D flatland. The 2D beings would only see a changing circle. They could never comprehend what a sphere truly is. Let's push this analogy further. Imagine rain falling on a 2D flatland. What would the 2D people see? They wouldn't see the sky, the clouds, or the 3D raindrops. They would only see countless dots, the cross-section of the drops, suddenly appear and then vanish. To them, this would be magic, a supernatural event. How similar is this to our observation of UFOs? The bizarre spherical or disc-shaped lights we see might just be the traces of a higher dimensional object passing through or projecting into our 3D space-time. It's like a monkey in a zoo noticing a flash of light from a tourist's camera lens. The monkey cannot understand what a camera is, just as we cannot understand the true nature of a UFO.
Of course, the universe doesn't evolve uniformly. The UFOs we see might come from civilizations at different levels. Some might be high-dimensional projections. Others could be physical probes, or even manned ships sent by intermediate civilizations only a few hundred years ahead of us, just beginning to master interstellar travel. Can you guarantee that when humanity masters space travel in a few hundred years, our ships won't crash on their maiden voyages? If the Roswell incident was real, it might prove just that. The visitors are not all gods. And this kind of intervention may have already happened in our history, with consequences that linger to this day. During World War II, U.S. forces set up temporary bases in the Melanesian islands of the Pacific. The indigenous people there saw airplanes, canned goods, and Coca-Cola for the first time. They worshipped the American soldiers who descended from the sky as gods and their supplies as miracles. After the war, the Americans left,
and the cargo stopped. The islanders fell into a profound crisis. They began a comically absurd imitation. They built full-scale airplane models from vines and wood in the jungle. They used bamboo to mimic antennas, creating radar stations. They even sharpened sticks into rifles and mimicked U.S. military drills on the beach. The most telling detail? They would wear half a coconut shell as headphones, stick a piece of bamboo in their mouth as a microphone, and sit in a wooden control tower making buzzing noises, mimicking the radio operators calling for the return of the gods. Year after year, they maintained that crude airstrip, praying for the return. This is the famous phenomenon in anthropology known as a cargo cult. Now, hold that concept in your mind, and let's look back at our own ancient myths. The sci-fi grandmaster Arthur C. Clarke famously said, "Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic." If thousands of years ago, a ship from an intermediate civilization had actually landed in Egypt or Sumer, what would primitive humans have seen? Would it fundamentally be different from what the Melanesians saw? The Sumerians believed the Anunnaki gods came from the sky and gave them knowledge. The precision of the Great Pyramids remains a mystery. Mayan reliefs depict figures resembling astronauts. Chinese myths describe Fuxi and Nuwa with human heads and serpentine bodies. A double helix? Are our gods just the cargo cult worship of ancient aliens by early humans? Is all of a religion today merely the collective, imprinted memory of that first contact? If that's true, why did they stop showing up? Perhaps they realized they had messed up. Just as human archaeologists discovered that interfering with primitive tribes leads to their societal collapse, they too realized this, declared Earth a no-fly zone, and switched to the zoo observation mode. They knew that the moment humanity confirmed the existence of gods, our civilization would stagnate, reason would give way to worship, and we would forever lose the chance to evolve independently. But there is an even more terrifying upgrade to the zoo hypothesis, the laboratory hypothesis, or rather, the simulation hypothesis. This sounds like science fiction, but in 2003, Oxford philosopher Nick Bostrom proposed a serious academic argument called the simulation trilemma. He argues that at least one of the following three propositions must be true. 1. Extinction. All civilizations go extinct before they can develop the technology to create realistic simulations. 2. Disinterest. Advanced civilizations can create simulations, but for ethical or practical reasons, they choose not to. Or 3. Simulation. We are almost certainly living in a simulation. Why? Because if only one civilization reaches a post-human stage and creates simulations, the number of simulated virtual worlds will eventually outnumber the one real universe by an astronomical margin. Therefore, the probability that you or I, as conscious beings, are in a virtual world is infinitely close to 100%. Under this hypothesis, the starry sky we gaze at, the Big Bang, the laws of physics, are all just background textures, meticulously rendered by this simulator to make us believe it's real. Under this hypothesis, UFOs have an even more frightening explanation. They are neither ships nor projections. They are system bugs in this cosmic simulation. Or perhaps they are the mouse cursor of the programmer from a higher dimension, which we accidentally glimpsed while he was checking the code. What's terrifying is that this hypothesis is virtually unfalsifiable, because the moment we get close to the truth, the moment we try to jailbreak, the administrator can simply restart the experiment, wipe the data, and begin all over again. It's like the bacteria in your petri dish suddenly becoming aware of your existence and trying to crawl out. What would be your first reaction?
Our search for aliens may have been pointed in the wrong direction from the very beginning. We are not waiting for them to appear. We are participants in a meticulously designed awakening. If all of this is a simulation, one giant program, then what is the meaning of all our thoughts, all our exploration, all our questions? Perhaps thinking itself is the only command that can debug the code.